Great. So let us get started. In the last session, we were looking at the basics of investigative journalism by Charles, and the session was interrupted by internet connectivity issues. But then you were able to look at a few things, including what an investigative reporting is, what conventional reporting is, the differences between conventional and investigative reporting. You are able to look at the history of investigative reporting. You are able to look at what investigative journalism is, and you are able to look at why investigative journalism is important. We say that investigative journalism can drive social and social change and advancement, can reverse injustice, can strengthen democracy, can give a voice to the downtrodden. And you also looked at the benefits of investigative journalism for the public. Viewers and readers and listeners love stories that bring added value. And for organizations, investigation is a luxury for news media, and benefit for you as an individual. And investigative journalism, if you do the right job, you can make many friends. So for you to succeed as an investigative journalist, you must be hardworking, you must be patient, you must be knowledgeable of national regulations, you must be relentless, and you must be passionate. And for you to identify the big story, for you to identify the big story, which is an investigative story, you need to look at the seemingly harmless press release. So sometimes when you see these press releases that are being released by organizations, when you analyze the press releases deeply, you will get a lot of tips that you can use to start off an investigation. So you could also look at clear denial of media access. Yeah, you could look at where media is denied to go cover. Then you could ask yourself, why is it so? And you might want to dig deeper. You could also look at the subtle lead from a current story that you have published. You could look at complaints from the public. You look at what are the public complaining about. Maybe you look at right now, maybe the public is complaining about the load shedding of JETCO, and you don't really understand why. Maybe you as a journalist yourself, you don't understand the justification that JETCO has for the ongoing load shedding. Then you might want to undertake investigation to find out whether JETCO is lying or is saying the truth. And then you look at complaints from an insider. Sometimes insiders from workers within an organization, maybe somebody works for MTN and then he has seen some fishy activities that are going on within the MTN group. So it gives you a tip as a journalist that you see this thing is this. So you as a journalist, you may now take your initiative to undertake an investigation to find out what exactly is happening in the particular entity from which an insider gave you a tip. You might also look at the complaints from a victim. Yeah, maybe somebody who has suffered, maybe for instance, somebody who is a victim of corruption and he's been to some institution and he's saying ABC. Or maybe we have had stories of maybe unfair recruitment processes in organizations, and maybe somebody who is a victim of such reports to you that you may want to undertake an investigation to confirm the allegations. Also, you may look at every experience, even you as a journalist or you as somebody who wants to be an investigative reporter, you might be experiencing a lot of things daily. So you really want to know whether such things are happening or they are not happening. You may also look at from your own experience as a journalist, and then you look at social media calling out. Like these days, people use social media for advocacy, and from point to point, people bring a lot of issues of importance apart from memes that people share online. There are important issues that people bring on social media. So you may want to use those social media messages as basis for an investigation that you wish to undertake. So yeah, sometimes you look at a harmless press release. You see, a press release is a short, compelling news story written by public relations professionals and sent to targeted members of the media. So the goal of a press release is to pique the interest of a journalist or a publication. So usually the press release contains essential information like who, what, where, when, and how, and most importantly, why, for the journalist to easily produce his or her story. So sometimes such press releases can give you really important information that you can use as a tip-off to start an investigation. Sometimes clear denial of media access, like this is when a journalist is blocked from accessing sources of information, such as government officials and official files. The process involves subjecting the journalist to frustrating bureaucratic procedures. For instance, sometimes they may directly tell you that, hey, don't come here. But sometimes they may not directly tell you that, but they will give you a lot of frustration until you give up. You see, maybe they will say, hey, you come, this person is not there today. This person is not there in the office. Oh, you need to sign this paper. Oh, did you have an appointment? You need to book an appointment. This person is not available for meetings. Maybe this is come this time, ABC. So that is clear denial of media access. And then this may push you as a journalist to find out why is this happening like that. Also, you look at the subtitle from your current story. Like here, in this presentation, we'll use mostly stories from Nigerian media because we could find very few investigative stories from South Sudan. So you need to understand here. Here we have, for instance, Boko Haram abductions shakes the foundation of education. Forgotten soldiers, maggots in my leg, and amputee soldiers, 44 months of begging the army for original prosthesis. So like these are all subtitles from stories that the journalist had. And so he wants to find out like the effects of the Boko Haram abduction on education for kids in a particular Nigerian state. And then here, this was a soldier who had an issue and was recommended to undergo surgery by the doctor. But then he's been begging the army to finance this surgery, and this wasn't happening. And then the journalist had to undertake an investigation to find out facts behind the particular situation. So sometimes you look at complaints from the public. Like here, this is a story saying the rich also cry, a tale of deaths and diseases in a heavily polluted upscale estate. Yeah, so here the public has been complaining of a state of improper waste management in a particular estate. And so the journalists had to undertake an investigation, like to find out what could be the reason of these complaints, like what exactly is happening in that estate. So then the journalists had to undertake an investigation to sort of find out what exactly was going on or what went wrong. So this was as a result of complaints from the public. Again here, these were complaints from the insider. So here in this Nigerian hospital, an insider made a complaint to people that you see there's a lot of corruption that is happening in this hospital. Even after the accident, where if you may not even be given bed to sleep as somebody who is a patient to be admitted, you see. So the journalists had to do an undercover investigation. So here and then he wrote this story: bed space corruption, terrible food, well-fed rats, many things not right at Yaba Left. So Yaba Left is the name of the hospital. So yeah, because of these complaints, then the journalists had to do an undercover investigation. So an undercover investigation is where you pretend to be somebody you are not. For instance, maybe you want to see what the sick people go through in a hospital. Then what you could do is you could pretend to be a patient, and then you are taken to the hospital for treatment, and then you get to now find the stories. You see how people act in the hospital, and then get the details. You see that. Or you want to see what prisoners are going through. You just pretend to be a criminal, and then you maybe tell one of your friends that, hey, you take me to the police station, accuse me of doing ABC. And then you are put in the police cell, in the prison. So after that, you can then find out what exactly people inside the prison are going through. You see that? So this is undercover investigation. So again, this is again another investigation as a result of complaints from a victim. So here, people have been complaining of corruption in the Nigerians customs service, you see. So these journalists had to undertake an undercover investigation, and then came up with this story: Nigeria's customs of corruption. bribery and forgery. So he realized that in this Nigerian customs service, there were a lot of issues of corruption, unfair practices, issues of bribery, issues of forgery. People could forge receipts, people could forge permission documents, and so forth. And then here also everyday experiences. So here, this was investigation about a particular, about mortuaries and cemeteries in Nigeria. So here, filth, stench, bribery, corruption at Nigerian mortuaries and cemeteries. Yeah, so this was an undercover investigation that these journalists did to see what exactly was happening in some mortuaries in Nigeria and some of the cemeteries. Was there corruption or there was no corruption? So this was written by Fishaya Soyombo. He's a Nigerian investigative journalist. He recently did an investigation about titled Prophets of Their Pockets, where he looked at some of the modern day prophets in Nigeria. He went to an Islamic church, he went to a Catholic church, he went to these ministries, churches, he went to Anglican church, and then he saw what exactly those church leaders are saying, because he claimed he needs deliverance, he needed prayer. So he would, some of these prophets, they would ask him to bring money, ask him to bring some things needed for sacrifices and stuff like that. So again, here from your experiences as a journalist. So here, the journalist, he drove a stolen car from Abuja to Lagos and then back. But along the way, he had to bribe police officers. This means that he does not have the car documents. But then for him to pass these customs officers and stuff like that, he had to bribe his way to his destination and then back. You see that? And then now, for instance, if you realize that now you have the story as an investigative journalist, this story could be from the sources we have named here. It could be from a seamless press release. It could be from clear denial of media access. It could be a subtle lead from your current story. It could be complaints from the public. It could be complaints from an insider. It could be complaints from a victim. It could be every experiences, or it could be from your own experiences, or it could be social media calling out. What do you do as a journalist? You have the story. What next? What you need to do first is do sufficient research. So this process here, this process that we mentioned earlier, that process is like identifying the claim for you to fact check as a fact checker. Yeah. Then after identifying the claim, now you have to do sufficient research. Then after doing the sufficient research, you need to turn the story over in your head. Like, you try to ask yourself questions. What if not? You ask these questions for yourself. And then after that, you write a pitch. A pitch is now kind of justifying why you would wish to undertake the story, what are the sources you're going to reach out to, and what is the relevance of this story to your audience. You see that? Then you submit the pitch to your editor. After that, you do your risk analysis. Investigative journalism is not a joke. Not anyone can do investigative journalism, because investigative journalism involves risks and it involves spending a lot of money. A lot of journalists in South Sudan don't do investigative journalism because of the risks involved, as well as the money that they must spend in order to undertake investigative journalism. So as a result of that, you need to make sure that you do proper risk analysis. After doing your risk analysis, then you hit the field to undertake your research or your investigation. After that, this is the process, this is the summary of the process that I have just explained. Listen, please, you need to follow carefully. First, conception of the idea. So you look at the story angle, you look at public documents, you look at your sources, you look at the new breaks, you look at the legwork, you look at the observation, you look at the steps. So this is where you do the conception stage and you make your hypothesis about the particular investigation. After that, you do the feasibility study. You look at what is the news value in this investigation. If I must undertake it, what is the news value in this investigation if I must undertake it? Then you look at what are the obstacles? What could possibly come my way if I must undertake this investigation? Am I going to be somehow bankrupt in terms of the expenditures I'm going to make? Am I going to need security clearance? Then you look at, do I have the resources? Am I able to finance in case there's money involved? In case I need to take video, am I able to do that? You see that? And then you also look at, you ask yourself, what if? Always the what if questions are very important. Ask yourself, what if X or what if Y, what if Z? Then if you provide answers to your what if questions, then you look at the protection. Are you sure you are able to protect yourself while you're undertaking this investigation? If you're going to a war zone, do you have a bulletproof? You see that? Maybe if you are going to a place that involves spiritual attacks, are you spiritually fortified for you to be able to undertake this particular research? You see that? And then after that, you now come to the decision making. Should I go? Should I not go? What are my minimum goals? What are my maximum goals in this investigative report? This is the process of investigative reporting. Very important. Then after that, now we assume that you have made the decision, you want to undertake the investigation. Now you have hit the field. While you're in the field, one, do not lose focus, because we believe you have done your risk analysis and stuff like that. So if things really become hard in the field, don't give up. Don't lose focus. Continue what? Moving and undertake your research. Move your data quickly. You need to make sure that, for instance, you are able to save emails. You are able to, if you are using photos, make sure you make good use of small devices like your phones to take photos, or very high quality equipment that will help you in your research. And then try not to alter the plan, because we said that you write your pitch and then everything. Then please do not do what? Do not alter your plan. Stick to your plan in carrying out your investigation, because the moment you change your plan, then things may go wrong. Again, while in the field, you will get a lot of disappointments, but you know that every disappointment is a blessing. I'm not a motivational speaker, but I'm just saying it to you that every disappointment can be a blessing. So take those disappointments while in the field as blessings. Yes. Then after that, you are done with the field. Now you have written your story. Now you want to go to the press. Before you go to the press, make sure that you feed your story into a data, not the other way around. Write it like your life depends on the story. You really put your energy in the story. You write it properly. Make sure you use your best grammar. You make sure there's no grammar mistakes. Just write like your life depends on that particular news article. Then after that, you write it like no editor will have a look at it. Write it like when the editor looks at it, the editor says, this one is fine. Just go and publish it. You see that? And after that, you consult widely with experts. Consult widely with experts on what their thoughts are about the particular investigative report before you go to the press. Yeah. So while you do the investigative journalism, you need to be very aware of ethics and safety. According to the Global Investigative Journalism Network, ethics are acceptable behavioral norms with value for investigative reporting. These ethics include, but not limited to, truth and accuracy, independence, fairness, impartiality, humanity, and accountability. Dozens of ethical codes exist, largely along the lines above, but often in more detailed. And you could see more about Global Charter for Ethics for Journalists, issued in 2019 by the European Federation of Journalists here. This is very important. Make sure that as you write your article, you are true, you are accurate, you are independent, you are fair, you are not impartial, you are acting in a human manner, and you're also acting in a manner that is accountable. Accountable means that if later on somebody comes to you and say, hey, in your report, you say X, Y, Z, you are able to explain yourself. You see that? But also there are some limitation of ethics, because ethics are codes and they are often written in broad terms based on widely acceptable principles. It is the application to specific situations that generates debate. For example, we look at this photo. This photo has been in circulation, and this photo was taken by an American photographer. It is titled The Vulture and the Girl. It is also known as The Struggling Girl. So the photographer was Kevin Carter. And this photo first appeared in the New York Times on 26th of March, 1993, showing a frail, feminine-stricken boy, initially believed to be a girl, who had collapsed in the foreground with a hooded vulture eyeing from him nearby. The child was reported to be attempting to reach a United Nations feeding center about half a mile away in Ayot, Sudan, now South Sudan, in March 1993, and to have survived the incident. The picture won the Plaza Prize for Feature Photography Award in 1994. Carter took his own life 4 months after winning the prize. This image has also been subject of many criticism for being a pornography of poverty. So when you look at this picture, so when this picture was shared, so people were asking the photographer, like, because the photographer took the photo, but then he was asked, what happened to the child? And then the photographer was not accountable, like he was not able to give a proper explanation of what might have happened to the child, and even he did not know whether the child was male or female. You see, like you could see here, that this is a boy and it was initially believed to be a girl. So in this case, the photographer, who in this case is a journalist, was not accountable. And then people were criticizing him that in this photograph, there were two vultures. So like there was the vulture who was behind the child, and there was another vulture that was behind the camera. So when they mean that vulture behind the camera, so they meant like the photographer himself was a vulture, because if he isn't accountable by being able to tell what happened to the child, then this is an issue. You see that? So in this case, the guy took his life because of such criticism, and which caused him mental distress. Yeah. So for safety and security, according to statistics, more than 1,400 investigative journalists have been killed since 1992, with thousands more assaulted and persecuted. Meanwhile, communications have never been more secure. So there are some guides here that can help you in safeguarding both your physical and digital security as an investigative reporter. So these are essential steps when you need to flee your country: journalism security assessment toolkit, safety and security guides and organization, covering street protests, digital defense, and digital security. Yeah. So these are all important tips that can help you. Any questions? Any questions on this presentation before we move to our topic for the day? Any questions, guys? You can raise your hand or you can put your question. In the chat box. Okay, perfect. Good. If there are no questions, then that's good.
Sorry, I had a question.
Yes, you can ask your question.
Yeah, sorry, I was very late because I had internet issues, but I'm very interested in this topic. So I hope I'm not asking, I'll probably be asking something that was already said. The difference between an investigative journalist and a normal journalist. Like, for example, say an international journalist coming from abroad, like say Al Jazeera, when they're coming to report, when they came to report on in the 2013 crisis, was that investigative? That was my question. Thank you.
Again, you said when which journalists came? Al Jazeera journalists came to report on what?
They were reporting on the crisis in 2013.
Oh no, that is not more like investigative journalism, because when we look at investigative journalism, we mentioned earlier. Were you there in the introduction last week? So, when we talk of investigative journalism is where the material or the news sources is gathered through the reporter's own initiative. Like, they do not need to be sent by the media entity that, hey, go and cover this particular story. But the reporter takes their own initiative and uses these materials objectively, and then any person who reads through the article would agree that they are true towards the subjective goal of reforming what? Of reforming the world. So the difference is this, because when you look at what those journalists did is merely conventional reporting. This is where the news depends largely and sometimes entirely on materials that are provided by others, such as police, governments, companies, and is fundamentally reactive, if not passive. It relies mostly on the inverted pyramid style that brings the most important aspect of a story first, including the 5 Ws and H. So that is merely conventional reporting and not necessarily investigative journalism. So the differences are here. You could see that with investigative reporting, you look at information that cannot be published until it is coherent and until its coherence or completeness is assured. Research is done until all details are confirmed and may continue after. So this creates a stories with legs. And this investigative reporting is usually lengthy, and it covers all information retrieved from sources. And sources have to be verified, and sources are not always disclosed for their security, especially where the sources are not permitted to speak to the media. Errors may be exposed to the reporter. So these are the characteristics, and this is what differentiates investigative, or what we call enterprise reporting, from regular or conventional news. Yes, Malek. Yes, Malek?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, please.
Yes.
Are you getting me, Nishida?
Yes, I'm getting you.
I want to ask a question about the picture that you just showed us.
Yes, you ask.
You said there are exceptions. And,
You said what?
And why? You said there are exceptions, right?
Yes. Exceptions about what?
About ethics. Like when Chata covered that story of a small boy in 1993, and then when he was criticized, he took his life. When you sit in journalism class, these exceptions, are not there. Like you don't have, because the Chata was criticized because he did not help a small boy to reach the UN feeding center. And
exactly.
Nobody knows that a small boy was scavenged by the bullshit. But when you sit in the journalism class, these exceptions are not there. Say you are to cover, you are not to help. Assuming assuming you are moving, going somewhere, and the accident happens on your watch, and what you are going to do is to cover. You don't need to help. Okay, though the accident is so fatal, but on the other hand, humanity is there. You can help. But now it is contradictory. When you sit in the journalism class, you are told not to help. Yours is just to cover a story. So now I find it contradictory. Which is which?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. So when you look at again, yeah, just like your reference is true. Like you could see that people were criticizing Carter because they believe that he's a vulture himself. Because if you could not come to the rescue of the child, then what was the purpose of humanity? That is why when you look at the ethics of journalism, that you as a journalist, you should have humanity as your ethics. It means you need to have humanity at heart. You need to be human. You need to act in a way where you can come into the rescue of fellow humans. As long as you can be of help, you help. You see that?
Yeah.
So it is part of the ethics of journalism. So I think these classes that say that you as a journalist, your job is to cover, I don't think it is human. Such teachings are not human.
I know, yeah. I one time told like it is so inhuman to leave a person, maybe, or to leave such a boy. Like
exactly.
When Tata went there, he was having preserved food in his bag. I guess.
Exactly.
Should have given one to that small boy so that he helped the small boy reach the feeding center. But
I agree.
He was so much strict to ethics that he left the boy there. And when he went back, he realized he did a very big mistake. That's why he took his life. So I was you carry ethics on one hand and humanity on the other, so that when such a scenario happens, you can be able to do both, do the ethics and also help.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree. So that is why the ethics of journalism now demands that journalists should act in a human manner. They should have humanity at heart. This means that as long as you are able to help somebody in need as a journalist, you should be able to do that. Thank you so much, Malek, for the input. Yeah, thank you so much. Guys, any other questions before we move to the next session? Okay, great. So now our next class is to look at digital investigation, how you can carry out investigations online. And we are going to use a presentation by Craig Silverman. Craig Silverman is a digital investigative journalist who has inspired a lot of people in this field. He says that there are 3 approaches, and there's one key concept for digital investigation. One of the approach is account analysis. Like you as somebody who is doing a digital investigation, like most of you are investigating claims online. So the first thing is investigate the account. You look at the social media profile. You look at the Facebook page. Look at the Twitter account. Look at the LinkedIn profile. Look at the company page on LinkedIn. Look at the Instagram handle. What is it saying? You see? So that is one approach to digital investigation. Another one is you look at the content analysis. You properly look at what exactly these people are meaning in the particular in the particular content that has been published. And then you look at the network. What kind of people are involved in sharing this similar content? Yeah. Like sometimes you could realize that person A shares, person B shares, person C shares, person D shares, person E shares, and person F shares. So this network can help you understand what we call inauthentic coordinated behavior. So sometimes there are people who are trying to bring a particular personality down, or they are trying to bring down a particular entity. So when you look through and being able to find out these things, then you will then understand the kind of networks that is behind a particular campaign. Because these days we're looking at the web that is anonymous, we're looking at closed or semi-closed networks, we're looking at conspiracy communities, we're looking at social media, and we look at professional media. So there's a lot of here and there that happens as a result of all these complicated things that exist in the digital media. Another fundamentals that you should have is always, you think about the actors. Think about the kind of people that are involved in perpetrating propaganda or a particular agenda that they are trying to push online. You think about the content that they share. You think about their behavior, and then you think about the kind of networks that exist in sharing these particular issues. And then you also start with one piece of content or site and pivot on to identify a larger network through consistent behavior and other connections. Also, you examine the flow of content across platforms and also different languages and websites. You should also be able to identify and examine the actors or accounts involving in spreading the message, and you recognize that attribution is hard. You need strong evidence, because usually people do not attribute a particular sort of information to a particular source. So for you to be able to confirm or to refute such, make sure that you need a strong evidence as an investigative journalist undertaking a digital investigation. Then, when you are doing social media account analysis, you need to always think about the network. This means that you look at the friends of this particular social media account. You look at the followers of this particular social media account. You look at the conversations that this particular account is engaged in. You look at their retweets. You look at their shares. You look at their likes. Because on social media, a retweet, a like, a comment means endorsement, means that this is somebody who is somewhere close to a network. So when you're able to understand these particular aspects of a social media account, then you are in the right track in your investigation. And then you look at what they usually tweet or post about. Has anything changed dramatically over time? Like for me on Facebook, I post memes. Then when you see suddenly I change the kind of content I post, then you might ask yourself, hey, has this person made a New Year resolution or something? You see that. And then another thing, you look at where do they say they are? You look at their location. Like there are people who are in Juba and they will tell you in their Facebook profile that they are in Australia. What the heck? How can you be in Juba and then you tell me in your social media profile that you are in Australia? So these kind of people, you need to be very, very careful about them. So you need to really understand where they say they are. And then you look at the pattern to the URL they share, the people they retweet or share content from. You look at the pattern. Is there a really similarity? Do they tend to only retweet information from a particular person? You see, do they also tend to share the same URL? So when they do that, you know that there's something fishy, and you need to definitely look into that as an investigative journalist. And then you check when the account was created. Like this is very, very important, because you need to be very suspicious of new accounts, especially if there's a pattern for creation dates. And then you see if you can find other accounts online, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, with the same name or username. And another thing is you can do a reverse image search for profile photo. Yandex is superb if you want to get faces clearly. So what you could do is you could also run offline database searches, such as TLO, if at all you have access to TLO. So yeah, so one of the ways of finding accounts is by using namecheck.com. Namecheck.com helps you to find other accounts that have the same user name. And then, yeah, so you could find names on, for instance, let's say domain names. You could find a lot of, yeah. So let me just share my screen so that you guys can see. Yeah, so this is it. So this is namecheck.com. Let me share the link in the chat box so that you guys can see. Yeah, so you can search the name here. For instance, you might want to check my username, maybe a username like Bida Thomas. This is a username that I use across several platforms, and then you search. So domains, you could see domains like bidathomas.com, bidathomas.net, bidathomas.me, .info, all of them, they are not taken by anyone, you see? And then you could check usernames on social media. You want to check on Facebook, whether there's someone on Facebook here with that username. You could check, yeah, Facebook, Slack. So here, so when you look at Bida Thomas, you will realize that Bida Thomas is there on Facebook, is there on Twitter, is there on Blogger, is there on Twitch, is there on Pinterest, is there on WordPress, is there on eBay, on Slack. So these are platforms that has this username. You see that? So it will show you here, Facebook, Slack, this one's in red. You see that? Then maybe we want to check, maybe you want to check 211 check, and then you could check 211 check, 211 check, and then we check. Yeah, so we see 211check.com is not registered, but 211check.org is registered domain. You see that? Then you could come here and you say you want to check username. So you could see that there's 211check on Facebook, there's 211check on Twitter, 211check on eBay, 211check on Pinterest, and 211check on Twitch. You see? Yeah, so this is how it works. So that is the use of name check, like you being able to check sort of usernames in a particular domain. And yeah, when you look at inauthentic amplification of content. So here you will look at this person is Jason, is James Scott. James Scott, his username is Jason D. Jolly. You see? So you realize that this person like has like kind of doing this here, doing this here. And then you will look at the kind of retweets that are being retweeted. You see all these people retweeting the same thing. And then you look at these retweets here. So this is an example of inauthentic behavior. And then you look at this kind of person, you see. This is Coren Smith. This is someone's profile picture. You see, when you do a reverse image search of this picture, it's not anyone called Amanda Hayes. Instead, it's somebody called Coren Smith, but her picture is being used somewhere. And then
my screen has frozen.
Your screen is not showing?
Yeah.
We are still seeing the name check screen.
Are you seeing now?
Yeah, we're seeing.
Are you seeing
now? Yeah, we are now seeing.
Okay. Okay. So I was saying that, for instance, you could look at, when you look at a particular tweet, and then you identify the kind of people who are tweeting this content. So in this case, you look at this person called James Scott, and is tweeting at the handle for Jason D. Jolly. You see that? And then when you look at here, notification, you see, it's kind of very related people who are retweeting a particular piece of content. So this is an example of inauthentic behavior. And then here you look at these accounts. So this account on Twitter is saying this picture is for Amanda Hayes. But when you do a reverse image search, it brings this lady called Corinne Smith on an official website. So this means that this is the owner of the photo. And then when you look at this profile picture, you say it's Sean Patrick. But when you do a reverse image search, it returns somebody called Jesse Palmer, who is the host of the Daily Mail TV. You see that? So even the same thing happened when we were doing the investigation for Silicon Valley shares. You realize that a lot of people Silicon Valley named in their website as people who are officials in their company are nowhere near their company. You see that? So they just get random pictures online and then put on their site. Yeah, and then you look at this, you see? So here you look at the retweets, Amanda Hayes, Henry Adams, and stuff like that. You see? Yeah. So here, this is somebody called Coban Dias, and talks about cybersecurity. And when you look at the kind of people that they follow, you see, it's very important. And then you look at this, the Washington Pundit is a Facebook page and stuff like that. And then you look at the kind of their page about us. You look at their ratings, look at the likes, the followers they have, the page transparency, when the page was created, where the admins are located. Like, this information can help you a lot in doing your investigation online. And then you look at the page transparency, in which country the admins are located, how many admins the page have, how many times the page name has been changed, and so forth. Yeah, you see? So when you're looking at a Facebook page analysis, always you look at how many likes and followers the page has. You look at has the page liked other pages? Are they run by the same people? You see whether they are consistently sharing the same URLs or content, whether they reshare posts from groups or individuals, maybe they are connected. You check the likes and comments on their earliest profile and cover photos. And then you read the reviews, view info and ads. You see if the page name has changed over time. You check for any link groups. If yes, look for the moderators and most active people. And then content analysis. Yeah, you look at this. Look at, for instance, the website, who is, like, where this news is coming from. That is why I do not like news from people who forward links from Phoenix. I don't like it. And then, yeah, you look at that. So you look at this type of content. You should always search on Facebook, just in case the domain, BBC, breaking news. You see, look at this and see this kind of content when you search. Yeah. Then you look at domain-based content and stuff like that. Yeah. And then you identify the most shared URL by, this is a search tool called BuzzSumo. So BuzzSumo is a paid tool, but it can help you sort of do content research online by putting the URLs and then being able to get the type of content that they have shared recently, and can help you a lot in your research process. Yeah, you look at this, look at this, look at this, you see, identify the most shared URLs for a domain. You look at this and where this sort of information has been shared. And then network analysis, you look at connecting website. Like here, you will see that the content is the same, the design is the same, but the who is private. How do you identify these sites and discover the owner? So you look at all these sites, like this is Daily News 11, Wadat, all of them, they share the same post, you see. and sort of that. So for you to use that, you need to use Google Analytics and AdSense IDs to be able to connect a network of sites online. So what you do is, this is very technical. If you're not a tech survey, you can just let it go. It's not something that is very serious, but you need to run through analyzeid.com or DNS Analytics or spy1web.com to see if other websites are using the same Google Analytics code or AdSense code. And then you could also look at the source code of the developer. This can also help you. Like you could look at here. This is an ID that should help you in identifying a particular network. Like here we have this, and then when you look at Analyze ID, Spy on Web, and DNS Analytics, when you run these analytics through this, you will see if other apps are using the same Google ID. So here, when you put the site, you will find the AdSense ID here. So sometimes if they are related, so like all these, they have the same AdSense ID. Also Google Analytics ID, like they have kind of similar, and you could see their email. Like this is the email of the same person here. You see that? So for instance, let me just click this and let me click Spy on Web. Oh, it's not, what the heck? Spy on Web is not bringing. Spyonweb.com, maybe the website is down or something. Recently, a lot of this is Analyze ID, and then we have DNS Analytics. So when you have Analyze ID, so you could put 211check.org, and then you search. So no ID has been found for this website. Let us check for maybe if I hit now.org. No ID found for this. Let's say iRadio.org. Yeah. So for iRadio, you will see that this is the IP address, and this website is related to this website called polismall.com. You see that? And yeah, so it's kind of gives you this sort of this. They have the same IP address, and this is it. And then you could look at let's say the city reviewss.com. No ID. So sometimes these people can also hide their IDs. So it's not always that you will find the ID of some of these sites, because they pay their companies to hide their data. So again, we look at iRadio. Like here, you see iRadio is not listed in the top million list of Alexa. So here you could see the hosting records. Yeah. Yeah. So you could get information about the domain ranking and information, the domain name, the domain suffix, the top level domain, and then you look at the records that are provided, the NS record, is the IP address, the provider, the MX record. Like iRadio uses, I think they use Microsoft. Yeah, they use Microsoft Outlook for their emails. You see that? and then SPF record, Outlook protection, and so forth. Yeah. So this is the kind of records that can help you sort of identify sort of network of sites that are publishing similar stuff. And then, yeah, so when you could look at when the domain names here, domain contact, when you look at the domain abuse contact email and the registrar's name, sort of that. Using this one, you can get this using, you can get this information using WHOIS records. And then also when you look at the, you could look at the older versions of the site on Internet Archive. All of you learned how to use Internet Archive last time. So this is just a revision. You can look through Internet Archive to see what the website was like before now, in the past, what was the form of the website. And then you look at network analysis, social share patterns, it's very important. Like you can look at the CrowdTangle extension, and then you see who is sharing this post. Like here, you could see that it is the same person who has been sharing the same information. You see that? So this is very, you see, the same person sharing. So you look at CrowdTangle extension to be able to investigate a particular link. Yeah. And actors with different motives can behave in similar ways. Even platforms with far better access and resources make attribution mistakes. Evidence can point to a particular location of origin, but does not necessarily state involvement. States often use PR firms and cutouts to conceal the activities. So you need to be very, very cautious. And quick recap of what you have learned today. You need to look at account analysis. Who does the account interact with? Where is its network? Look at what content it shares. Look at whether it exists across other platforms. When it comes to content analysis, you need to see if there's a consistent formula or format to the content. You look at search excerpts and the domain names to see where else the content appears and where on social media it is being shared. Use BuzzSumo to analyze content trends for domains or keywords. Network analysis, use the CrowdTangle extension to see how content spreads. Analyze analytics and add codes to reveal hidden connections. Examine WHOIS IP info to see if it is going to other sites. Pay attention to algorithm recommendations to find similar accounts. So this is a quick recap of this presentation, except you guys have any questions. And here is a link to a list of verification and tools. I'm going to share it with you guys so that you guys can see a few stuff to be able to do your things. Yeah, so this is, I think I shared this already earlier, but you can just click on these links to be able to see a list of verification resources that you can use for your digital investigation. So here we have essential browser plugins. These are Chrome extensions that you can add. These are photo analysis tools that you can use for photo analysis. These are tools you can use for video analysis. These are tools you can use for website analysis. The tools you can use for social media search and account analysis. Tools you can use for finding people online, and tools for advertising analysis, tools for web traffic analysis, tools for corporate business, and tools, guides, and resources that can help you a lot in doing your work, and presentations from Craig Silverman, including this presentation that I have included here. Guys, any questions? Any questions? Malek, you are saying you're not on WhatsApp?
Yes.
Why? You're not in the group?
I am not in the group completely. I gave my name and I wasn't included.
Let me share the link in the chat box. Just click the link and you should be able to join the group. Yes, Adao, you're welcome.
I would like to know whether these digital investigation tools, do they require you to have an account, or they're just like an engine, you know, like a Google engine, whereby when you want to find something out?
No. They are not like engines. You have to, some of them, you have to create accounts.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want to test them out, you just need to use the temporary email. I remember in the session for digital security, you were told to do what? You were told to use temporary email. There are temporary emails if you don't want to use your own email to sign up for things that you just want to try out, right? Do you remember that session?
Yeah, but I think I didn't attend. I was in class the other day. I came late.
You did not attend?
Yeah, the one that was the one that was done by Arik.
Yes, by Arik.
Yeah, I didn't attend. I came late, but I watched the video on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So there's something called, there are temporary emails. One of them is called 10minuteemail.com. So with 10-minute email, you can create a temporary email just to test a particular service that requires you to sign up. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah. You see, for instance, this one that
Is anyone else hearing Bida, or is it just silent on my side?
Even me, I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, even me, I'm not seeing anything moving.
It's not clear to me either.
I think network is not stable.
Maybe.
What now, guys? What now? Because it seems to be going. Hello.
Yes, Adao, let's just wait for him, huh?
Okay.
Hello, did he share the attendance form yet or not yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, are you guys getting me? Are you getting me?
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, great. I got knocked out by MTN, but I'm back. So, Adao, I was telling you that there's something called temporary email. So with the temporary email, you can sort of use an email that is not yours to be able to do certain things online, because sometimes you don't want to use your email so that they don't spam your inbox. Android, those are the links for you to download the apps. And yeah, so this is what we call the temporary email that you can use to sign up for services online. So for instance, this is the email that they have created for you. This is your temporary email. So if you go, for instance, let's say, let me see which of this one here will need me to, sign up. I don't know. Which one here will need me to have an email. Which one here will need me to have an email. Which one here? Let me try this. You have an email. So, oh, this one here. Yeah. So in case I would like to request a trial, then I will just click here, request a trial, or I can just, yeah. So they want me to put my name, a lot of information. I don't have time for filling these things. Let me look for another simple one. Another simple tool. Let me try this to see if it is simpler. Oh, the domain is not working. This one is an extension that helps you find an email address by name from Gmail. Yeah, so this is just an extension, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But if you must sign in, I don't know. Let me just look for another easier thing to do. Yeah, let's say we want to sign up for the Internet Archive. Yeah. So what we could do is we could come and say sign up like this. So they will request us to, oh, I am already a member, so come on. So it's unfortunate for me. So, but what you do is all the same. Adao, this is your email. You just copy your email, you paste it where it is needed. In case they send you an email, you will see your email in your inbox. This is your inbox. See? So anytime you will get your email here. So also when you download the app, you will get it. I hope some of you have downloaded the apps already. Yeah. And then, yeah, that is that. For any other questions? Somebody is asking for the attendance. Let me get the attendance quickly for you guys. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions?
No question. It is clear.
Oh, oh, nice. So the last thing is, let us just take a 2 minutes break and then we come back. We are left with 6 minutes. Take a 2 minutes break. This is 3:55. We come back at 3:56. So you sign the attendance. I am sharing the attendance now. Here is the attendance. Please. Okay, I hope you guys have all seen the attendance and you are feeling it. So let's get back for our last 4 minutes. I just want you to look at how you can do investigations on Google. So please, for instance, when you come across a claim, like when you come across a claim that maybe you come across a claim that Adao studies at the University of Juba. The first thing is, if you want to check truly if Adao studies at the University of Juba, you can just go to Google and then search Adao studies at the University of Juba. So that in case there's any information about Adao studying at the University of Juba on the internet, then you can get it. University of Juba, there's no Adao Kwan, is this college, Kampala University College, Juba, Adao, this. So University of Juba, Ton Adao Chan, University of Juba, LinkedIn, University of Juba, new recruitment, University of Juba, this university. So there's no information like that. You see that? Yeah. So it's kind of. So if you, that this is you.
That's me.
So you started at University of Juba?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So Google is correct, right? This is your LinkedIn profile, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. Why is it not having a picture?
Because I did not upload.
You need to. Yeah. So you see, so these times you guys you're doing your assignments and then you go online and then you're searching for information. Then you want Google to bring you a Excel document. So sometimes you need to tell Google to bring you exactly what you want. Maybe you're looking for, maybe you're doing an assignment on the importance of education. Then you need to be clear. You say, Google, bring me importance of education, and the file type that I want should be a PDF like this. So Google will bring for you all the PDF documents. You see here, PDF. You see here, PDF. You see here, PDF, PDF. You see that all the PDF results will be brought to you, and not result that is not anything close to PDF. So like that, you can easily get what you want. If you want Google to bring for you a Microsoft Word document, then you put here file type, docs, like this. And Google will also bring for you Microsoft Word document. You see, docs, benefits of education, attainment, importance of education. All in that case, you don't have to get the burden of having, here is an ad. So the ad, and then if you want a presentation, you want Google to bring you a PowerPoint presentation, then you put PPT or PPTX like this. So when you do that, you see here, all in a PowerPoint, this what does education do? A presentation by Harvard University. You see, PowerPoint presentation. Only PowerPoint presentations, in case like you're too busy to make a presentation and you're asked to do a presentation, you can just search for the presentation of your topic online. In case it is there, you will get it. And then if you're looking for Excel document, maybe you're looking for data, data about something, maybe importance of education, again, data. Then you put X, XL, XLX. I don't know if that the case. Oh yeah. Or XLS, like that. Yeah, it has brought. Yeah, so Excel documents, you do XLS. So like that, you see these are Excel databases. So it will only bring you data on Excel. You see that? So that is also one way of easily doing your research online. So another thing is, another thing is this. If you want to search for your assignment from a specific link, okay? Let's say you want to see articles about resident, articles having the name Salva Kiir. Maybe you want to see articles having the name Salva Kiir from iRadio. So you put site, maybe, yeah, iRadio.org. So you will see all articles mentioning Salva Kiir on iRadio. You see only here, Kiir, everywhere, only Kiir. You see that? The same thing, if you want to see articles about having the name Salva Kiir on BBC, so you put site, BBC, and then the domain.com. Only you see BBC, Salva Kiir, South Sudan's President Kiir everywhere. So that is, you just put your specific topic name, and then you look for the kind of information that you want. Let's say also, let's say if you're looking for articles, maybe you're looking for Salva Kiir online, then you could just say Salva Kiir. But you don't want articles having Riek Machar in them. So you put Salva Kiir minus Riek Machar. So you will get articles having Salva Kiir, but that do not mention Riek Machar. So Riek Machar, so here we have Machar. Let me do this. No, it's not correct again. It's not correct again. Yeah, so like this is correct now. So now all these articles that you will see here are articles that will have the name Kiir, but do not mention Riek Machar. Riek Machar will not be mentioned in these articles here. You see that? So this is one way of researching on topics of your interest online. Another thing is, maybe let's say you are searching for a DAO online. You could say, bring for me result having a DAO Chan or Gwen or Gwentol. So any article having a Dow Chan or Gwentol will be brought to you. A Dow James Chol Chan, a Dow James, our team, Energy Quest Magazine, a Dow Profiles, LinkedIn, Ruang Community, Sudan Tribune, a LED Chol, a Gang. Bring me articles that mention Adao Chan and Gwentol. There are not many great matches about this, but yeah, School of Applied Science and Industrial, University of Juba, yeah, so stuff like that. And then let's say you're looking for URL. For instance, you want, South Sudan already has a domain called .gov.ss, and then you want to see how many articles, you want to see how many websites have the .gov.ss domain in their sites. So you will, this is one way of finding South Sudan websites online. You do this, you see? You could see eservices.gov.ss, Ministry of Health, moh.gov.ss, eServices, eVisa, evisa.gov.ss, nra.gov.ss, National Bureau of Statistics, nbs.gov.ss, Bank of South Sudan, boss.gov.ss, Ministry of Petroleum, mob.gov.ss. You could again do here. Next, you see here, Ministry of Ministry of Labor, mol.gov.ss. And then here, Ministry of Education, mogay.gov.ss, usaf.gov.ss, South Sudan National Bureau of Standards, SNBS, you see? So this is one way of easily finding South Sudanese sites online. Any questions on Google search?
I'm good.
Okay, great. Have the very best of your evening, guys. Let us meet on Thursday.
Share a link. The link of
Sorry?
Google. The link, so that we can copy.
The link? The link for what?
Google, the one that you are searching now. Google search.
No, this is just the normal Google that you go and search your stuff. But these ones are just ways that you can search precisely for whatever you want online. Like these are easy ways so that you can get the information that you want quickly, because sometimes Google brings a lot of results and some of the results are very irrelevant. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, but then when you look for specific things, it can help. Bye. See you on Thursday.